What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel for another FM22 experiment video. Today we have a custom database where every single player in the database has been released from their club contracts. They are all available to sign as free agents. I just wanted to see what would happen with this database with every single player in the world released. What would happen? Would new clubs arise and come to the top of the footballing pyramid? Would certain clubs fall away? Would the clubs with the bigger amounts of money in terms of their wage budget just pool all of the good players and create super teams left, right and center? Well, in today's video we will find out. This database though was created by the amazing CTxCB. His links to his Twitter will be down in the description. Please do go and drop him a follow because this guy creates some unbelievable databases which we will be showcasing on the channel over the coming weeks. But without any further ado, let's dive into this database and see what it looks like with no club actually having a player. So here is this database. What I've done here is I've set up a custom view so that we can take a look and keep a track on everybody in the current save. Basically what I've done here is I have arranged the current players in the database, all of them, all 486,000 of them, by their current ability. So the current ability, if you weren't aware, is how a player is graded. It ranges from 0 to 200. This is a combination of all their attributes and how they look and how they perform in game. This is their current ability. So as you can see right here on your screen, the best player in the game right now in this save is Robert Lewandowski, who has a current ability of 190 out of 200. So Lewandowski is that damn guy. But as you can see, there are familiar names here: KDB, Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi, Mo Salah, Benzema, Neymar, Van Dijk, etc. The list goes on and on and on. You can see their positions. You can also see their last club, but their current club, they are all unattached. If we go on Robert Lewandowski here, he is just a Polish striker. He is currently wanted though. He has all of his other stats, his other attributes and stuff. Everything is still the same. He's just no longer a Bayern Munich player. As you can see, Lewandowski is currently wanted by Liverpool, Manchester United, PSG, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Villarreal. This is the joy of releasing absolutely everybody at once to see what happens, to see if a new footballing superpower is created. As you can see, a lot of these players are wanted by multiple clubs. What we're going to do is we're going to jump forward in a couple of different increments, a couple of different years at a time, and take a look at this list again in this current filter to see how everybody is getting on. So without any further ado, let's jump to the end of the season and see what's happened. So guys, we are at the end of the first season after every single player in the game has been released. And to be honest, we've had some really strange occurrences. But before I get into it, I will say if you want this database, there will be a download link in the description to FM Scout where you can go and download this custom database and play it for yourself. It is really good fun. I will be doing a rebuild on it using this database coming up at the weekend. So please do make sure you go and check that out and head over to FM Scout for this database. At the end of the video, I'll show you how to get it into your game so that you can set up a new game and get things underway. But let's take a look at the current list of players. The interesting thing is, not many of them have actually joined teams. A lot of them were wanted, and over the course of the season, lots of players were wanted, but nobody actually went and joined the club, really. We've arranged the players again by their current ability. And the only players who have actually recently joined teams are Alphonso Davies, Vinicius Jr., Jadon Sancho, Dusan Vlahovic, three of those actually joining the same team. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, here we go. Let's have a look at this team here. They've obviously started to put together certain players, and you can see Alphonso Davies, one of them. They've started signing some of these real players, so it'd be interesting to see if we go into their history. Annoyingly, we can't look at it because I don't have the league loaded. But yeah, Saudi. One of the Saudi teams pulling in some of the real players. Who'd have thought it, hey? If we scroll down a little bit further, we got a couple here. Pedri has joined the club. Dusan Tadic has actually joined Al Jazeera. Andre Onana has headed over to the MLS. He is now part of Chicago Fire, and so on and so on. I'm just going to scroll down here so you can see some of the ones that have moved, some of the players that have moved. And interestingly enough, some of them have gone over and signed for Shakhtar. Obviously, we all know about the issues that are going on in Ukraine at the moment. So it's interesting to see that some of those clubs, some of those players have gone over and signed for Shakhtar. Kevin Volland being one of them, and they've also signed Lucas Velimo. So let's go and have a look at the Shakhtar squad. It looks like they have quite a few of them, yes, they have been active. They have gone out and signed a lot of real players, which I think ultimately in this save will do them very well, considering a lot of the big elite names haven't actually been picked up. So they've got in here the likes of Sam Johnston as a goalkeeper, Lucas Velimoso is a nice pickup as well. Let's have a look. Ryan Christie's an interesting one, Kevin Volland, Ben Rama, Roman Yaremchuk. They are some very, very interesting players, and it looks like they've done very well over in Ukraine, as Shakhtar have lifted the Ukrainian title. If we go in and take a look, obviously it seems like, wow, 30 games, 30 wins is because they've gone out and signed real players. Obviously, a lot of these other clubs haven't necessarily done that, or at the very least, not to the same level, not to the same extent, and have that pulling power of Shakhtar. So that is why they've gone out and absolutely annihilated the league. You could do this in your save as well if you wanted to, using this database. Okay, so let's go and have a look. We'll continue to scroll, and you can see a lot of the teams that have been picking up players. It's going to be interesting to see what happens over the course of a few years in this save, to see if certain teams do get themselves all sorted. If we go and take a look at the England team, for instance, if we go and have a look, some interesting clubs in here, a lot in the MLS, a few at Shakhtar, obviously, but even then, Harry Kane, still completely unattached, a complete free agent. His attributes are obviously declining because he's not playing football. Will he get picked up in this second season? That is what we're here to find out. Some of the interesting ones, though, let's have a look at the Premier League. We are based in England, so it is right that we do have a look at the Premier League. Manchester City have retained the Premier League trophy, so fair play to them. Manchester City, though, of course, it's interesting to see that it's basically fallen out how I thought it would in terms of budgets and stuff like that. Arsenal maybe above Liverpool, probably not what you would expect, but Manchester City top the league. Pep is still their manager. Who have they gone in and bought out of curiosity? Let's have a look at their transfer history. They bought one player, Simenu. They bought one player, and he's not even good. He's not even good, guys. He is now the best player. He is now the best player at Manchester City. Obviously, Man City do have their own academy and stuff like that. So once the new gens, the new intake has happened, they've obviously brought in some of these players and are now actually playing 2 goals, 2 assists for this guy in the Premier League. So interesting that they've not actually opted to buy any players, but certain clubs around the world have, and it's obviously held them in good stead. Let's go into the Champions League and see who's won some of these European competitions, because obviously if Shakhtar have signed real players in this, and Shakhtar have won the Champions League in season number 1. Can we go and have a look here? If we go onto the stages and we go on, let's have a look at the tree in the final. Let's have a look at the not the Champions Path. We want to look at the knockout stages. So Shakhtar have advanced really, really nicely out the top half of the draw. They beat Bayern Munich 7-0 in that first knockout round, 7-0 against Juve as well, 5-1 against Liverpool, and then they win in the final against 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪, who I don't even know what country that is from. That is from Lithuania. They've obviously gone out and picked up some real players as well. Fair play to them. Not as many popular names as you would expect in this, but they do have a full squad of real players nonetheless. So fair play to them, getting past Manchester United amongst some others, not necessarily superpowers of world football. We're going to simulate another season with this to see if things do right themselves, or see if Shakhtar actually go back to back in the Champions League. Okay then guys, we are at the second year of this experiment where we've released every single player in the database, and things have started to right. Finally. I'm surprised it's taken 2 whole seasons, but the best player in this database after 2 seasons is Erling Haaland, and he is now a PSG player. Obviously, a lot of the current ability of these players has been affected by the fact that they've not actually played games, but there are some very, very interesting names in here alongside some of the big clubs that you would expect. Let's dive in. So we have Robert Lewandowski is the second best player. He is now actually a player for Astana over in Kazakhstan, which is baffling when you see what has happened here. So Astana in Kazakhstan have put together one hell of a squad. If I actually go into their tactic, you can kind of see they have an unbelievable squad here. They've got Danilo, Kea. They've also signed Bastoni, Alaba, Toni Kroos. They've also got Lewandowski up front. On the bench, they've got Pepe, Daniel Vaz. They've João Cancelo, Mo Salah, João Felix, Kylian Mbappe. They've just gone in and they've just signed everybody. Kylian Mbappe is playing in Kazakhstan on £24,000 a week. What is going on? They've obviously signed him as a free transfer. He's had a couple of years where he's not played football, obviously, and he's now playing in Kazakhstan, where he scored 4 goals and got 2 assists in 5 appearances for the club. It's just ridiculous. They've gone into, I believe they're in the Europa League. If we take a look at their schedule, they have won the Europa League. Obviously, they have picked up that trophy, so they will be in the Champions League next season. João Cancelo scoring a 100th minute winner for them. And yes, this team is very, very good. You just can't believe the sort of stuff that is happening. But some of the other clubs are starting to buy players. PSG looking very active in the market. They've signed 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 𝙈𝙚. They've signed Kai Havertz. They've signed Jude Bellingham, Joshua Kimmich, Jamal Musiala. They are definitely starting to pick players up. But interestingly enough, Gianluigi Donnarumma, not been picked up by a club yet. Potentially one of the best goalkeepers in this game. Still a complete free agent. As we scroll down, is there any other high profile names that haven't been picked up yet? Brentford doing some business here. Matheus Nunes, that's a very good pickup. Shakhtar again, obviously with the players that we have seen. PSG picking up Barella is a very nice one. Atleti picking up Szoboszlai as well. Ter Stegen is Brentford's goalkeeper. Absolutely ridiculous. Asana, there's Mo Salah there at Asana, along with Jules Koundé and a couple of others. This team is mad. This team is mad. Honestly, some of the transfer values as well for some of these guys is silly. Alessandro Bastoni, because he is playing in Kazakhstan, is valued at 1.1 million. Sorry, 1.1 million to 3.4 million pounds for a player of his caliber is ridiculous. I'm scrolling down. I just want to see if there's any other high-profile names. Sadio Mane still doesn't have a club. Let's continue scrolling, see if we find anyone else. Callum Hudson-Odoi doesn't have a club either. If we continue scrolling. Okay, we're into the 130 current abilities. Elmas doesn't have a club. Hakimi doesn't have a club either. It's mad. It's mad. This database is absolutely crazy. So we've seen that Manchester City have picked up a couple of players. Does that mean that they are Premier League champions? They have retained the Premier League. 101 points for them. Alexander Isak is a Brentford striker, which is good to see. Brentford finishing in the Champions League positions. Norwich, Watford and Middlesbrough all relegated. Tottenham hanging out down the bottom. Liverpool, Manchester United not picking things up as well. Have Liverpool with Steven Gerrard as their manager? What is happening in this database? Okay, they've started to sign players, but not the right ones. They're actually using money to sign people. There were so many players as free agents, and they've just not signed any of them. I just don't understand. Why have they spent 40k on this guy, Kieran Lofthouse? Now, I'm sorry, Kieran, if you ever watch this video or whatever, you're not good enough to play for Liverpool. I just don't understand why they spend 40k on you from Leyton Orient. It's baffling. But Man City win the Premier League. Champions League, have Shakhtar retained the Champions League trophy? I have honestly no idea what's happening here. Okay, so Shakhtar have retained. Apoel Nicosia beating them in the final 3-1 thanks to goals from Yaremchuk and Ryan Christie. The Scottish international has won the Champions League with Shakhtar after 2 goals in the final. If I expand this, you can probably have a little look and see how the teams stacked out. If we change this to formations vertical using the skin that I am running right here, you can kind of see things a little bit more interesting. Ocampos, McAllister, Sabitzer. So Apoel Nicosia got a nice team as well. Ramos, that is Sergio Ramos at Apoel Nicosia versus Johnston, Kilman. Yeah, see, the Shakhtar team is okay. It's not brilliant. It's okay. PSG are going to be a force. Now they've got Haaland. I'm just curious now. Let's have a look at this PSG squad. So in the PSG squad, big names. Frankie de Jong, who they're playing at centre-back. Joshua Kimmich is one of them as well. Tariq Lamptey, Martin Olsen, Jude Bellingham, Barella, Buzio, Bernardo Silva, Kai Havertz, Jamal Musiala, Olise, Zlatan is back at PSG. Erling Haaland. Yeah, this team's going to be a force. If this team don't win the Champions League next season, I will be very, very surprised. We're going to stop one more year into the future to see if a big team reclaims that Champions League trophy and see if some other players move for some big transfer fees. I'll be back with that in just a second. So on this final stop of this database where every single player has been released, it looks like normal service has resumed. PSG look like they are back on the top. If we take a look at the database, here is everybody again sorted by their current ability. Erling Haaland dominating that with 190 current ability at PSG. Kylian Mbappe is now a Manchester City player. Kevin De Bruyne is still playing in Karabag, which is just baffling to me, but look at the amount of PSG here. Erling Haaland, Kai Havertz, Vinicius Jr., Lewandowski, Alphonso Davies, Bellingham, Sancho, Vlahovic, Wesley Fofana, Kimmich, Bastoni, Musiala, Martinelli, Olise, Fabian. It just goes on and on and on. It looks like normal service has resumed. Dejan Kulusevski actually it being one of the best players there for Almeria, which is very interesting to see if they've won La Liga. If we flick on over and take a look at the players and their squad, and yes, they have won La Liga with 104 points, which is ridiculous. Josh Maja is now a Barcelona player. Almeria winning the league the last 2 years. Absolutely ridiculous scenes. If we go back to some of this, the PSG team is ridiculous, as you kind of would expect. Brentford doing their business, picking up some nice players. Alex Moriba, Bawadu, and players like that. Hertha Berlin starting to throw a bit of cash around now as well. Seeing their name float in a little bit is quite nice to see. As I said, Brentford definitely picking up the players here. You can see why they have finished in those Champions League positions. If we go and have a look, Manchester City, they are the current Premier League champions, and they still are. Looks like they've won it 3 years in a row, even with every single player being released. It looks like they've slowly started to pull a team back together. You can see Bernardo Silva's a Chelsea player, Alexander Isak, as we've mentioned, a Brentford player. Florian Balogun is a Manchester City striker and the second highest goal scorer in that Premier League, which is just ridiculous to see. If we go and have a look at some of the other leagues, Almeria are top of La Liga. They have won it the last 2 years, beating after Barcelona won the first year. We go and have a look at that Bundesliga. Hertha Berlin have won it in the last 2 years. We take a look at that league table. No losses in this season for Hertha Berlin. Absolutely dominating it. And Robin Berger looks absolutely fantastic for an 18-year-old coming out of Dynamo Dresden. Over to Italy. Juve topping the tree with 91 and only one loss during that current season. If we have a look, well, last stop is going to be League. PSG have won it. Lille won it the first season. And if we have a look, it has been normal service resumed. Erling Haaland doing Erling Haaland things. Lorenzo Luca being the striker for Monaco. They've actually pushed them pretty close, but only one loss throughout the course of the season at home to Monaco is the done deal for PSG. If we go and have a look at the Champions League trophy and see if a big team has won it this year, Almeria out of Spain. The Spanish champions have won it. They've beaten PSG in the final. Let's have a look at this. Ilyasa Komash and Lautaro Martinez scoring the goals for Almeria, who have picked up Donnarumma, Singo, Lacroix, Teze, I don't know. Nianzu's a great pickup. Tonali is another good one. Kulusevski, Lautaro Martinez, Ilyasa Komash. This PSG team's pretty stacked as well. Fofana, Bastoni, Davis, Kimmich, Fabian Havertz, Haaland, Vinicius Jr. Again, a very good team for PSG, but Almeria are Champions League winners after the run of Shakhtar for 2 seasons in a row. Just because I'm curious, who has won the Ballon d'Or during the course of this time? If we flick it over, Ballon d'Or winners. So Joshua Maranza picked up the award, 16-year-old for San Felix. He picks it up. Then Ilyasa Komash wins the Ballon d'Or, aged 18, which is ridiculous. And then Erling Haaland wins it, and it looks like normal service is about to be resumed with PSG dominating things left, right and center. So let's talk about how you can get this database and play it yourself. So now you need to download this database and get it into your game so that you can use it yourself. So the first thing you need to do is head to the description of this video and you'll see a link there for FM Scout. Head on over to Scout and download this database. Once it's in your downloads, then you need to follow the steps that I'm going to run through now. I will be showing you guys on PC. If you are looking to install this on Mac, it is relatively simple. It is exactly the same. You just find your files are in a different location because Mac is super awkward. Use your Finder and search for Sports Interactive, and that will bring in the Sports Interactive folder. Then you can follow along with the steps in this video. So once you've downloaded the save, head on into your downloads and either cut or copy the database. It doesn't really matter which one. Now you need to find your Sports Interactive folder. If you are on Windows, it's probably going to be around this sort of file structure. If you are on Mac, as I said, use your Finder, search for Sports Interactive, and that will pull in the right file locations. Then you can follow along as well. So if you are on PC, it's most likely going to be in your documents. Go into Sports Interactive, Football Manager 2022, then you go into editor data and you're going to paste it into here. This is where your real name fix goes and all of that good stuff. If you're using the Mad Scientist database, that goes in here as well. Just paste the file into here. Then you need to do the in-game bit whilst you are setting up your new game. So let's head into FM22. So you're in FM22 and you're going to set up a new game. You click on Start New Game as you would, then you click on the career button here. This brings up the career game setup window. The first thing you need to do is do not advance here, do not hit quick start. You need to head up to database in the top corner here and make sure that the database is selected. Obviously you can see I have the real name fix set up on mine. And then if we go down, you will see the database here. It is called No Players at Clubs. And as you can see, there's 458,000 database changes here. And this is, again, all thanks to CTxCB. So please do go and check out his links in the description. You need to confirm this one. And then you go on to advanced setup and you need to set up all the game and the leagues and stuff like that. If you are going to do this save for yourself and take over a team and try and pull in all of the free agents, one note I will say is make sure you have a few nations loaded, probably the top 10 leagues in Europe as playable, because then you will have at least a relatively decently active transfer market and you can start to see different players moving into different directions. Once you've done that, loaded up the leagues that you want to have playable, that's all you need. Just go and have some fun with this database. There will be a link in the description as well to my Discord channel. Jump in, let me know who you take over and what team you can build in that first season, because I will be very, very interested to see the teams that you put together, and you will see what team I put together in my rebuild of Watford on the channel on the weekend, next weekend. So without any further ado, thank you very much. If you have enjoyed this video, the database, all of that good stuff, please do drop a like on the video down below. Subscribe to the channel if you are new around here and are picking up the content for the very first time. And until next time, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I'll see you on another one very, very soon.